In today's Bitcoin video, we will have a look at everything that happened in the last days and weeks, and also look at what we think is going to happen in the next couple of days and weeks. We're going to be using 4-hour structure, and for our price predictions, the zones we're going to be looking at where price will turn around, all of that, we're going to be using Elliott waves. We will also be looking at the liquidation heat map and data like open interest, spot volume, and funding. And don't worry, I'll explain all of this. Always looks complicated, but trust me, it isn't. Let us start into the video with the structure. And zooming out, we think that if we go way back into 2024, we think a wave 3 has topped here in the middle of December, basically. And since then, we've seen an A wave to the downside, a B wave to the upside, and a C wave to the downside, question mark. This is basically the problem that we have with the structure, is that we don't know whether or not the C wave is finished. Now, it can be finished. It has reached the minimum requirements. It would be fine if it's finished. We just don't know. And that's why we have to be a bit careful. It's still possible that we move into this support box for this wave 4 here and basically see lower local lows. For now, we're going to assume, though, that this wave 4 has finished and we're now on the wave 5. And basically, if that is happening, what do we have on the chart for that? We basically have a wave 1 to the upside, which is complete. A wave 2 to the downside, which we think is complete. And now in this wave 3, we've seen a wave 1 to the upside and a wave 2 to the downside. And now we're going to be seeing a wave 3, 4, 5 to the upside. Exactly how that is going to look, we will dive into later in this video. First of all, let's look at this. And I'll put this in order. Basically, this just gives us a good estimate of what is happening in the market recently. I always take from the local lows or local highs and draw lines, because otherwise it's very hard to actually compare these levels because they're so nuanced. And what we can see here is that prices from the local low, this is basically the low of our wave 2 in this scenario, this is basically this low, prices have gone up. Not an insane amount, but $4,000, a decent amount, they have gone up. Since then, open interest, however, has gone down. So open interest is the total amount of leverage positions in the market, that is longs and shorts combined. That means basically this is a very healthy pump. It's not driven by a lot of open interest. There is not much leverage in the market, nothing that needs to be flushed out, no overheating, nothing. It's basically showing us it's a healthy uptrend so far up to this point. Of course, this can change. Now, this basically purple, pink line, whatever color you want to call it, I think I don't need to draw a line here. It has basically been on a steady decline since the start of February, perfect decline. And it's just basically showing there is not much spot volume going on. It's basically zero. There's not an incredible amount of buying, not an incredible amount of selling, just slowly decreasing amount of spot volume. Now, what we can deduce from this is the total amount of leveraged contracts, but we cannot say if there's more longs or shorts. However, we can deduce that from the funding, which is down here. And let me draw a line on this. And the funding basically describes the ratio between longs and shorts. If the funding is 0, it means there is exactly as many longs as shorts in the market. If the funding is bigger than 0, if the number is bigger than 0, there's more longs. If it's lower than 0, there's more shorts. Right now it is more than 0, so more longs, but it's basically the 0 line is here, so it's basically irrelevant. Like the ratio is pretty much even. And what we can also see is that within this period there was not either more longs or more shorts being added. It's basically the exact same, so we cannot deduce anything from this really. But now looking at the liquidation heat map, this basically just supports everything we've seen on here. There is some liquidity here, some liquidity here, some liquidity here, and some here, of course, but nothing really major. If I would have to point at a direction just using this chart, I would say probably upside, because there's slightly more liquidity and the roadmap is looking slightly better. And we would have to go down quite drastically to catch this liquidity. But honestly, there's not really anything. Saying that there's anything coming from this chart you can read right now is probably, I mean, that's just reading the stars. That doesn't get us any further. Now, let us look at what we think is going to happen next exactly. And we're going to be using Elliott waves, as I said. By the way, this is not financial advice, it's just our opinion. As I've said earlier in the video, we're assuming that we're currently in this blue scenario and it's valid. Of course, if prices dip below the support box and also if they dip below these lows, then we're going to be looking at this scenario, and we're going to wait for prices to enter the support box and then turn around here. But for now, the support box is holding, and what we're going to be basically watching out for is whether or not, yes, it is possible that we see another low in the support box and then turn around. But we're basically going to watch if we will see another low and then go higher, if we will go higher from here, or if we will break the support box. Again, as I've said, first scenario out of 3, very easy to read. If we break this level, the scenario is invalid. Second scenario, we go deeper into the support box and then we break out higher, also easy to read. Third scenario, basically this was already the low of the wave 2, and now we're going up in a wave 3 and we will basically go higher from here. Also easy to read. What we will do with our positions, basically probably buy some here, some here. The setup is not that high conviction on our part, and again, please do not copy our trades blindly. Do not copy anyone's trades. You have to make your own strategies, your own trades, everything like that. If you want to learn that, feel free to check out our website. We offer help with that. But it's not a smart idea to copy anyone's trades blindly, no matter how good they are at trading. And of course, it's not financial advice, just opinion. But we're going to be stocking up on trades here probably, and also somewhere in this low support box if prices go lower with something like a 2 or 3x leverage long. And we will wait for prices to go up here. I can also give you a price prediction for this wave 3, which we can just basically calculate using our Fibonacci extensions. And basically this wave 3 can go anywhere between 105 and 112. That's probably the most likely region where this wave will go. But I think enough was said in this video. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.